ActionSA is calling on Western Cape Premier Winde to take swift action to address the shocking state of service delivery in Knysna. The party says it's concerned about the potential further deterioration of governance in the area. For more on this, we are joined by ActionSA's Advocate Julie Seton. Advocate Seton, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Knysna is known as a popular tourist destination as well. How did we get to this point where the service delivery is described as shocking?
Yes, thank you, Mark, for the opportunity. It has been a fairly rapid deterioration, bad governance. We have unfortunately found ourselves in the situation where most of the senior officials in the Knysna municipality do not comply with the minimum competency regulations. They therefore cannot do their jobs. The councillors are not doing their jobs. There have been numerous court challenges about irregular appointments. These have all been defended at ratepayers' expense. And there is no money being spent on upgrading of infrastructure. Infrastructure is collapsing around us. We have massive sewage spills going into the lagoon, raw sewage flowing down the streets. Rubbish is not being collected. Our compactors are broken. We've had to rely on interventions from province and Georges to try and basically a patch-up situation just to try and alleviate the pressure without a solution being offered. And at this point in time, there's no real solution in the pipeline unless we get urgent and immediate intervention from both Premier Winde and province. And we are calling upon them to intervene, to invoke Section 139 of the Constitution to dissolve the council because the council is not functioning. And this is in the interest of the residents of the town. The residents need service delivery. We've experienced outages of water in Sedgefield over the festive season that lasted for several days. And water trucks were insufficient. The water was not delivered. That's a basic human right there that isn't being upheld. That this municipality is failing to deliver services on even that level. Rubbish is strewn all over the town. We've got vermin infestation. And citizens are getting to the point where there have been actual citizens have come and are trying to assist with pothole refilling, etc., etc. But it's a shocking state of affairs. There is no governance and very little accountability, and we really need urgent intervention from the Premier and province.
What has been the Premier and the province's reaction and response to not only your letter, but all the complaints that have been getting from the residents? Premier
Winde on the 27th of December actually issued a statement, I think on Facebook, saying that they are aware of the situation in Knysna and they're going to prepare an appropriate response. But, you know, we've been aware of the situation in Knysna for months. What we received, we sent our letter on the 4th of December. I did get a response yesterday from his office to say they would be taking it up with the Premier. We haven't heard anything back. We did approach Minister Bradell several months ago. We just got an acknowledgement of receipt of the letter, and no further action was taken. And we really do need province to take the step. And I understand that they're hesitant because they have lost several court cases previously, but quite frankly, Knysna is now at the stage it's bankrupt. It's openly bankrupt. The mayor admits in his reports that the commitment of the municipality exceeds the cash reserves, and this has been happening in the Section 52 and 71 reports for the last 9 months. So it's not news to province, and we're pleading with them to please intervene. Please stop the nonsense. Please bring in a team of people who can actually do something and govern this town properly. Dissolve this council.
One of the responses, I think it actually was from that Facebook post as well, by the Premier, making mention of, blaming the ANC-led government for what they call lousy governance. But the Western Cape is governed by the DA. What does that mean for them?
Well, put it this way, our fear is that they are delaying taking action because it's all very nice just to point fingers and say, oh, look how the ANC are messing up. What the DA are forgetting, or from a political perspective, the problems in Knysna, the lack of clean audits, all started under a DA-led coalition. So the rot did not start with the ANC. I'm not saying they've helped, but it did not start with the ANC. The DA certainly were complicit in a lot of what has gone wrong in Knysna. But I would really hate to think that province would not intervene simply because they want to make Knysna an example as a failed municipality, because this was the jewel of the garden route. This is a precious town, and the residents deserve good governance and deserve more than they're getting at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly was, and hopefully will still be the jewel of the garden route. Taking a look at the fact that we are having national elections coming up, which will also determine provinces' governance as well. What does it mean for our elections coming up for residents of Knysna?
Well, we just hope that more of them go out to vote than they did in the last elections. These elections, the national and provincial elections, will have no impact whatsoever on the actual composition of the Knysna Council or the way Knysna is being governed now, because obviously that's a national and provincial election and not a local government election. So if there's no intervention, only in 2026 will the Knysna residents see any change unless province intervenes, and we're appealing to province to intervene.
The states that you described that Knysna is in, of being almost bankrupt and not even having the correct people for doing the correct jobs with the necessary skills as well. I mean, it really does sound like a shocking state, and we do hear reports about it here and there, you know, really scattered. But we do know about failing municipalities in Gauteng. We know about Tshwane. We know about Johannesburg when things go wrong there as well because of coalition governments. Why do you think, considering that Knysna is the jewel of the garden route, it's not making as much news?
That I'm not sure about. I would imagine it's because the DA-led opposition is not functioning effectively. They should be crying. They should be blaring it out from every rooftop. I actually am not in a position to answer that. We are trying to bring as much awareness as possible. I've actually driven down, I'm talking to you from the Knysna waste transfer station, and the stench is unbearable. You know, we've got rats running around, we've got homeless people who have now set up shelters in the waste transfer station area. It's a shocking state of affairs, and it deserves more publicity than it's been getting. And I know a lot of residents have, in fact, taken the initiative into their hands, and they are approaching province and the Premier. But yes, there has been a deafening silence from the opposition, which is the Democratic Alliance, and Kim, about the current state of affairs in Knysna.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, and all the best to you. That was ActionSA's advocate Julie Seton joining us, talking about the shocking state of affairs in Knysna.